Alrighty, guys, the final part, guys. I have 3 minutes on my phone. And you better enjoy this series while you can, guys. Because once I'm getting on peace, not my wife. Once I'm a movie star with my wife for Xanius and The Matrix, you know what I'm saying? You guys are crazy, crazy buzz for the Unreal Engine 5 games technology. You guys are left behind, and I'm experiencing that feeling with and you're left behind, you're not saved. Like I'm saying, maybe pay my wife, you're also gonna pay too. When I'm living that life, I'm famous now. I'm a famous movie star, a famous game star. I'm not only gonna be a famous movie star, I'm also gonna be a famous game star. You get something crazy, yeah. I'm gonna be a famous game star, yeah, man. I'm gonna be fucking famous. Yeah, so you can have Brie Larson and John Krasinski be in your Matrix trilogy. You can save them for 3 movies. Pay John Krasinski his 13 million for the first movie, zero point 0.0. You give him 0.02 for the first movie, and you pay him his 14.2 million for the second movie. You give him 0.02% of the profits. In the third movie, you pay him like 15.5, 50.3, 50.4 million. You give him 0.03 from for what? For the third movie. It's a good deal for John Krasinski. Or for the third movie, you can pay him a bigger A-lister salary. You can pay him his 16 million and give him a 4 mil bonus, and you give him 0.07% of the profits. No, I'll just give him 0.03. He'll still be a small A-lister, but then give him 0.03 and pay him 50.4 million. And then Brie Larson, I can pay her 10 for the first. Give her 0.02. You can pay her 11.512 for the second movie. Give her 0.02. And for the third movie, you can pay her like 13.8 million, whatever it is, $14 million, and you give her 0.03. You can do a good deal like that for Brie Larson. Yeah, similar deal for Paul Bettany, some there. And then Ben Affleck and Scarlett Johansson for that movie, you sign them to their massive contract. Same deal as their Great Escape contract, and they get small little raises for their bonuses and their salary, and they get their flat 0.01%, 0.1%. And then by the third movie, you can give them 0.2. Scarlett Johansson and Ben Affleck. In the first 2 movies, you give them 0.1. If the movie does more, if it does less, you give them 0.7. They won't do you, obviously. That's what I'm saying. And they'd rather be in that Matrix trilogy than be in the Great Escape. Because for the Great Escape, it's a one and done, right? Where for the Matrix trilogy, you're safe for 3 movies. You're gonna experience the fame with me for 3 fucking movies. It's a good deal. And that movie will have crazy. And you have them featured on your games. Yeah, you can pay Ben Affleck a nice $3 million for your first game. Give him a nice 0.02% of the profits. Ben Affleck and Scarlett Johansson for the games. The second game you can pay them 3.5, and the third game you can pay them 4 million to voice act and for character model, and you give them a nice 0.02% for all the games, for all 3 games. Whereas all the other actors get their flat salary. They don't get shit off the profits. They're not worth it. So Mike B. Jordan, you can pay him 2 million for the first game, the voice act, a flat 2 million. In the second game, you pay him 2.4 million. The voice act and do character model. In the third game, you can pay him is like 2.9, $3 million. Brie Larson, them you pay them the same amount of money. You know what I'm saying? Because for game, don't pay actors like 10, 12 million for a game. They're ripping you off. For a game, you pay them way less. But pay because they're Hollywood actors and they're going to be in your game. You pay them their millions, but don't let them dupe you. Pay them a few $1,000,000. You know what I'm saying? Pay them a rich salary, but not something crazy like 10 million bucks. No. For the games, I'm not going to pay all the developers like 150K each. No, I'm going to pay them all like a smaller salary. 50K minimum salary. Most of them are going to pay, I'm going to pay around 50, 55K, 60K. A good salary, the way they work hard for you. And the managers, you pay them like 80, 100K. And the really, really big guys, you can pay them a couple $100,000. That way, so I want to put most of the money towards the technology of the game. Whereas for my movies, I'm willing to take out the checkbook and pay the recruitment a lot of money because it's very important. For the games, you pay all those guys like 50, 60K on average around there. That way, they don't affect your budget. So I want to pour all that money towards that Unreal Engine technology for my Xan's game and my Matrix games. And to do that, you have to be careful how you pay all these people. You know what I'm saying? For the salaries, I'm only going to have like a $60 million budget for my what for my Xan's game and my Matrix game. $60, $70 million budget around there, and then everything else is going towards the game. Everything poured towards technology of the game. That way you got a good game. Unreal Engine 5 technology, guys, for the Matrix and Xans. Go watch Rabrad's Unreal Engine Matrix Awakens part, the beginning of the game. Remember how you got the experience? Yeah, think of a game like that for the Matrix and Xanus. They're kind of unheard of game, yeah, man. Right? So I'm gonna keep talking about the Matrix story here, obviously, right? So in the what? To honor the Wachowski sister story, you gotta try to be as consistent as you can. So when I in the Matrix One, Morpheus says the One was born in the Matrix. I don't know what the Wachowski meant by that. When you saw the movie, Keanu Reeves woke up in the real world, obviously. So he was a baby. He was born in the real world, obviously, and he, as he grew, the baby grew in that real world, obviously, and he woke up in the real world. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what they meant by him being born in the Matrix. So the best way I can think of, obviously, is whenever the glitch happens, obviously, what and the baby, there's like this egg or seed that's created in the real world, obviously, and it grows into a baby biologically, obviously. You know what I'm saying? And the machines make this thing on the back of his head. And they plug the baby, obviously, the one baby formed, something happens in the matrix. And you get this electricity. You get this electricity, obviously, and the body of the one forms into a baby. Something like that. It forms into a baby, obviously. It forms into a baby, obviously, and what? It forms into a baby, obviously, and then the baby cries, and the one is born in the Matrix. That's the best way I can think. I don't know what I haven't. I think that's the best. That's the only thing I can think of for the one being born in the Matrix. Otherwise, I can't think of anything else. Like how, like if he's born in the real world, how was he born in the Matrix? That's the only thing I can think of. So the electricity in the Matrix represents the machine side of the dream world, the machine side of the one. And in the real world, you get the biological birth, like you have this seed or something like that. You have this seed, and the seed forms into a baby. Ivan, where does the seed come from? I don't know. I'm gonna have to talk this with a. Hey guys, what do you think of like you have this like seed, and the seed grows into and forms into a baby. See what I'm saying? The seed forms into a baby. Yeah, yeah. So my idea is the essence of the one is alive, obviously, and the moment the oracle and the architect decree the one to be reborn, they have power over the matrix. Another seed is formed from that essence. That is the one, and then a new one is born. So I have the same essence, the same code as Neo, obviously, but I'm a different person. I'm a different person, obviously, and another seed is formed in the Matrix. You have that goo thing, and then the seed enters inside, and the seed is formed, and it turns into a baby. And the machines are aware, and they plug the baby. And the moment the baby's plugged, obviously the baby's now born in the Matrix, and you get this electricity, and the body of the baby forms, and then the one is born in the Matrix. That's the best thing I can think of, obviously. What takes place, I don't know, but like you have this electricity coming from the sky, which represents power, and the body of the one is forming in human flesh. And so the reason why the one is born as a baby because the one is human. He has machine in him, but he's human. Whereas the agents are not human. Hence why when the agents form, they form in full human form. They don't form as babies. No, they form in full human form. And you know what I'm saying? And so when the glitch happens, obviously, you get this electricity, obviously, and you see something like Terminator, and you get this music, and the body and the whole body of Agent Smith is forming in human. The virus of Agent Smith is forming in human form, and he laughs. He's like, "I'm back." And once that takes place, he looks up to the sky. You know what I'm saying? And you get like two flashes of lightnings going down, and those two agents form too. Because the agents come in threes in the Matrix. They come in threes. And it's two more agents. Because the virus returned, the two agents now return too. And you see their body forming, and when they get up, they clench their fist. You know what I'm saying? They're like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know. Like, they say, any anomalies? You know, I'm back. Any anomalies? No anomalies. Last anomaly deceased. The name was Neo. He died 100 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and then like a couple hours later, and then when that happens, the Sentinels blink in the real world, and they're aware of Agent Smith's coming back in the Matrix, obviously, and everyone in Zion are packed. What the fuck's going on? And they know something happened in the Matrix, obviously. Everyone in Zion knows about the glitch, obviously, and that's when the Oracle and them panic, and they make a deal with the machines. Okay, the only one who can stop Agent Smith is the one. Okay, a new one wants to be reborn, and the Oracle and them decree the one to be reborn because they have power. The essence of the one creates a seed. Creates a seed. Obviously, a seed is created. A seed is created from the seed comes from that essence. Obviously, I don't know how it comes, and the seed forms into a baby. in the real world, obviously, and the machines put that thing behind the baby's thing, obviously, because he's part Manhattan machine. And the moment they plug into the baby, obviously, the one is now born in the Matrix. See what I'm saying? And that's how the one is born. That's the best example I can think of for the one being born in the Matrix. I can't think of anything else, guys. No, Ivan, Ivan, I think that's smart. The couches are shocked. Holy shit, Ivan, that's smart. There's a seed, huh? Yeah, there's a seed. There's a seed, obviously. The seed of the one is created in baby form in the real world. Biological birth, obviously. So he's human, but he has a supernatural special birth, obviously. But because he's half machine, he's also born in the Matrix, too. You know what I'm saying? His mind, the mind of him is born in the Matrix, but because he's in the Matrix and he has human form, his body also takes human form in the Matrix when the baby's born. So you get three agents that are formed like Terminator, obviously. Don't copy Terminator. Like Terminator, like you have electricity, you have this ball, and the agents, the Terminator appear. Whereas for the Matrix, I'm thinking you have this electricity, and the body of the virus of Smith and all the two agents forms in human form, obviously. You know what I'm saying? Whereas the one that's a baby is born because the one is human, obviously. Whereas the agents are not humans, you know what I'm saying? Like any anomalies, no anomalies. You know what I'm saying? Last anomaly known, the name is Neo, deceased 100 years ago, you know what I'm saying? He's like, are you sure there's no anomalies? No anomalies. And they walk, and you know what I'm saying? And you get the scene where the cops eat donuts in their place, and the agent Smith arrives. I'm back. You know what I'm saying? He's like, agents? He's like, who are you? He's like, you know who I am. He's like, Smith? He's like, Smith died. Smith was deleted 100 years ago. He's like, that's impossible, not impossible, inevitable. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and they laugh and all stuff, and they take charge, obviously. And then a couple hours later on, the one is born into the Matrix. Born into the Matrix. The baby's crying, and then a person finds the baby. He's like, where the heck did you come from? You know what I'm saying? And the baby's crying, obviously. And then they put him in an adoption place. They put him in an adoption place, and then two people choose to adopt the baby one, and you get the life of the one in the what? In the Matrix. Holy shit, I'm creepy. Yes, I want to tell a good story. That's why the causes are going to be shocked. They're going to be, wow, holy shit, Ivan, that sounds like a masterpiece. Yeah, look at an amazing story. Yeah, man. Look at a masterpiece. Yeah. Now, at 16 years old, the one what? The one is in high school, and he gets into hacking, obviously. He gets caught, he goes to the principal's office, and then he gets interrogated by the agents in their base, obviously. You know what I'm saying? Who got you into this? I'm saying, no, how long you been hacking? You know what I'm saying? I give them the finger, I want my lawyer. You know what I'm saying? They interrogate me and I'm brave and I give them the finger, just like Keanu Reeves gave them the finger, I want my lawyer. And they let me go, obviously, and I'm scared shitless, obviously. And then my parents pick me up, and they yell at me in the house, and they kick me out, obviously. Get out of my house, son. And they kick me out. And I find a job. I find a job as a what? I find a job as a dishwasher, and that's where I meet that guy who becomes my best friend, and he hooks me up with hacking. I don't know, man. Like, I got caught. I could have done 5 years in prison for this, and they let me out with a warning. Oh, don't worry about it. You won't get caught. I'm saying nobody will know about this. You make some good money on the side doing this. A nice like $1,000, $2,000 on the side doing this. And I get into hacking. Obviously, the guy becomes my best friend, and it transfers 20 years later. And then 20 years later, my friend gets caught. Obviously, they interrogate him. He's scared. You see him. He's at first he's brave. He's I'm not telling you shit. And the agent Smith scares the shit out of him. He's okay. I'll tell you. You know what I'm saying. The next thing you see him with the smoke, he spills all the beans. Anything else? This man we interrogated 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know what I'm saying. Anything else? Yeah. He's an odd dude. What do you mean odd? You know what I'm saying? He always talks about how he never knew his parents. He doesn't know he feels he didn't know who his parents were. You know what I'm saying? He always talks about how he feels like he's dreaming. And Agent Smith's curious, dreaming? Well, he's one of them. He's one of those rebels, obviously, yeah. And that's what leads them to be curious. And the next day I get that call. They're after you, yeah, and I'm on the run, obviously. Yeah. Then when I get free, my mind gets freed, obviously. I go into the Matrix, I die, and I meet Keanu Reeves, obviously. I'm like, who are you? He's like, I am Neo. You know what I'm saying? I am Neo. I was a former one before you. You know what I'm saying? His voice, I'm saying. Yeah, I made a grave mistake. You know what I'm saying? I let Smith copy himself onto me. You know what I'm saying? The way Keanu Reeves talks, I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah. So even though Keanu Reeves saved Zion, obviously, and he saved the Matrix, he made a small mistake, obviously. He let Smith copy himself onto him. And that's how Smith was able to come, the virus Smith was able to come back. See what I'm saying? And the moment the virus Smith comes back into the Matrix, the one is also reborn. Because Smith is the opposite of Neo. They have a little bit of a connection, kind of, right? So when Smith comes back, because he's a negative of Neo, and Neo is a positive, obviously, the one is also reborn. The seed of the one is reborn. And in the real world, and then also in the Matrix. Ivan, what makes this? How? Where does the seed come? I don't know. The seed comes from the seed comes from the spirit of the one. So the same spirit of Neo, obviously, the essence, obviously, a new seed is created. So I'm the same. I have the same essence as Neo, but I'm a different. So all the former ones have the same essence as Neo, but they're different persons or different ones. And I'm the seventh one. And then you have this seed. This seed, obviously, and the seed grows, it forms into a baby. In the real world, obviously, the machines put the plug on me, create the thing on the back, obviously, and they plug. And the moment they plug me, I am now born. The electricity takes place, and my body now takes place, and I am born in the Matrix. The one is born in the Matrix, yeah. I'm saying? The one is born in the Matrix. And the baby's crying, and someone finds the one. And they put him up for adoption, and someone adopts the one. Look at an amazing story, yeah, man. Holy shit, creepy. Yes, I want to tell you the story, man. The reason why the one is born as a baby, because the one is human. He's human like the people in Zion, but he's also part machine. Hence why he's born in the real world and also in the Matrix. He's part man, he's half man, half machine. But he's human, hence why he's born as a baby, obviously. Whereas the agents are not human, hence why whenever, even though the agent Smith, the virus Smith is reborn, he takes full human form as an adult. You know what I'm saying? Whereas the baby one is actually born like a human being in the Matrix. You know what I'm saying? Because he's human, obviously, but he's not a normal human. He's a supernatural being. He's a special human being. The one does not have any parents. He's supernaturally born. He comes from a seed. The seed. The seed of the one. You know what I'm saying? The Wakanda is like, holy shit, you're creative. That's a good idea. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Ivan, that's consistent with our story. Yeah, I want to do my very best to honor the Wakanda sister's story. I don't want to conjure story. That's the best thing I can think of for the one being born in the Matrix. You have his birth in the real world, and he's also born in the Matrix. You see what I'm saying? And he's given up for adoption, and they erase him, obviously. You see what I'm saying? That's the best thing I can think of. See what I'm saying, guys? Yeah, I was just saying yes. It's the best thing I can think of, obviously. And the internet cord's here, guys, so I'll upload the video and you guys will watch it in a couple hours, in a good auto. Good 20 minutes from now, you guys will be able to watch my video. Now, I might make another one afterwards. Talk more about this major stuff, because I have a lot of things in my mind I want to talk about. See what I'm saying? Yeah, you're looking at an amazing story. Yeah. You're looking at an amazing story. The story of the one in the Matrix. I got the idea of the story of the one in the Matrix by that Reloaded scene when Neo meets the architect. You saw the life of Neo's life flash before his eyes on the screen. Oh my god, wouldn't it be cool to tell the story of the life of the one in the Matrix? His life, yeah. Now you tell a better story, obviously. You tell a better story. Yeah. See what I'm saying? You're like an amazing story, yeah. So Ivan, it's your idea for the Matrix coming into the Matrix you have, yeah, you have this electricity that symbolizes power. Obviously, you have this electricity that symbolizes power, obviously. But the way the sun is the one is created in the Matrix is not the same way the Matrix are created. So look, the electricity that forms I don't know, the electricity that forms Agent Smith is more like harsh and like evil. It's like an evil form of electricity that forms. Yeah, I don't know. It's like this red electricity, and the one's electricity is blue, and it's a more peaceful birth. Whereas the Agent Smith is a virus, and you have this like virus forming into human form. And the Agent Smith is created. Obviously, he comes back, and he looks up to the sky, and you get like two lightning flashes that come down from the sky. You get this thing, and you get this music. You get this music, and like two agents form, and they clench their fists. Something scary, like Terminator. They're like, we're back. You know what I'm saying? He's like Smith. Smith turns around. He's like, any anomalies? He's like no one. They're like no anomalies. He's like last anomaly the name was Neo, deceased 100 years ago. You know what I'm saying? He's like, are you sure there's no anomalies? He's like, there are no anomalies. You know what I'm saying? They walk, you know what I'm saying? And like a couple like hours later, the baby one is born in the Matrix. You got this electricity, and the baby one is born into the Matrix. Something like Terminator, but don't copy Terminator. Make it original, obviously. You got electricity, and the body of the baby's forming. But once the body of the baby forms, obviously, the baby cries, obviously. The baby cries, obviously, and yeah. That's how the baby one is born. Ivan, where's the baby like born? I don't know. The baby is in. I don't know. The baby. I don't know. The electricity forms, and the baby is. The electricity forms obviously, and the baby what? The baby is forms on some. I don't know. I don't know where it forms, but it forms somewhere in the Matrix, obviously. And you know what I'm saying. And when this happens, people in the Matrix. When this happens, obviously, some of the cops and some of the people, they see this electricity. What the fuck is that? In the Matrix, and when you have the rebirth of Agent Smith and the three agents, and the rebirth of the one, who's meant to stop them. Look at a masterpiece, yeah, man. Some singer. Ivan, that sounds like a masterpiece. Yeah, just looking at a masterpiece of a story, man. That's the best thing I can think of. The one being born in the Matrix. I don't understand what the Wachowskis meant when they said that. Because Morpheus is like, yeah, the one was born in the Matrix, and then when you see Keanu Reeves, he wakes up in the real world. Okay, how was he born in the Matrix? I don't get it. The only thing I can think of is that you have this like seed that forms the biological birth of the one, obviously. So you get the biological birth of the one, for he forms through a seed, obviously. The seed comes from the essence of the one. Obviously, the essence of the one, obviously. And then the moment the baby gets the machines plugged the plug onto the back of the baby's head, you get this electricity, and something happens in the Matrix. You get this electricity, and the baby's also born. In the what and what the baby's also born in the Matrix. Some saying? I'm saying, yeah, the baby is also born in the Matrix. The baby is also born in the Matrix. Some saying? That way it's consistent, obviously. And then when Michael B. Jordan frees my mind, I wake up in the real world. My body is now grown in human form in the real world. So the baby that was born in that real world, while I grow in the Matrix, my body in the real world also grows. And so when I wake up and I'm now a full adult. You know what I'm saying? Just like I grew in the Matrix. Yeah, it's consistent with the story. That's the best way I can think of for the story. So I'm saying, holy shit, I'm creepy. Yes, I know my shit, man. You're looking at an amazing story, man. Hence why I'm gonna have to study the shit out of that Matrix script. The first movie, the second movie, the third movie. Study it, okay, VJ. I want us going over this thing like 3, 4, 5 times. We go over scene by scene. We look at the dialogue. We take notes. Okay, the one is born in the Matrix. Let's take that notes. You know what I'm saying? Agent Smith is a virus. Agent Smith copies Neo onto himself. Copies copies himself onto Neo. Neo lets Smith copies him onto him, and that's how the virus Smith comes back. You see what I'm saying? Sorry. Neo is called the anomaly because he has the code of the one, and you write that down, and that way when you tell your story, you're consistent with the Wachowski sisters' story. Because I want to do my very best to honor their story, man. I don't want to have contradictions like the fucking sequels of Star Wars. Like, unlike me, I actually care about honoring the Wachowski sisters' story, whereas the Disney does not care about honoring George Lucas' story. Hence why they created that mess, obviously. Like VJ, I don't want my sequels to be something messy like the sequels of Star Wars. We need to really plan this shit out, man. Study the Matrix 1 script, study the Matrix 2 script, study Matrix 3 script. Take a bunch of pages worth of notes. Study the notes. That way when we pitch the Warner Bros. And the Wachowski sisters, we're prepped. And we have our foundation for a story. You know, for the Matrix movie, I'm gonna have early stages of development. I'm gonna fly into Wachowski sisters, pay them a nice $100K, and I'll have them help me plan out my 3 scripts from the notes that we and VJ took. That we were prepped to write that amazing script for Matrix 1 and Matrix 2 and Matrix 3. And I'm going to make sure I plan out all 3. I'm going to plan out mainly Matrix 1 first, obviously. But I'm also going to take notes from Matrix 2 and Matrix 3. That way I have a foundation. I know what I want to happen in Matrix 2 and Matrix 3. That way I'm not lost. I don't have something messy happen like the sequels. Rian Johnson, J.J. Abrams, Disney, Kathy Kennedy, all of them, they made a grave error. They did not plan the 3 movies. Hence why the story was not consistent at all. It was a different movie for each movie. You know what I'm saying? As Last Jedi is not really consistent with Force Awakens. It's very, very messy. You know what I'm saying? It's not consistent with Force Awakens. And Rise of Skywalker is not consistent with Last Jedi. The whole thing was messy, obviously, because they didn't plan it out, man. Rian Johnson, J.J. Abrams, all did not plan out the trilogy. Which is common sense. Script writing 101. Before you pen down your first script, you gotta write. You gotta what? You gotta plan out your 3 movies. You know what I'm saying? You gotta plan out your 3 movies. And for the Matrix trilogy, I'll hire the people who worked on the original Matrix. You can do that. Hire the people who worked on the original Matrix to work on your Matrix. But they might be a bit old by then. Those guys, it's 30 years later. Those guys are probably going to be aging. You can hire the crewman who worked on the original Matrix to work on your Matrix trilogy if you want. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But you can hire some of the guys, right? You can hire other guys who worked on other movies to work on your movie. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I have an idea. When the one is born, obviously, the baby, the electricity forms, and the baby is in the baby is in the apartment. The baby is in the baby is like formed. The agents form in outside, obviously, and the baby forms in like the apartment or something like that. And the people in the apartment are like, what the fuck's going on? And the baby forms and they're crying. The baby are crying. And what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? The what the fuck, obviously, yeah. And Ivan, why do you want to go in an apartment? There's some symbolism there because remember when Keanu Reeves and Morpheus, they want to see the Oracle, and Keanu Reeves is like, what did the Oracle tell you? That I would find the one. Okay, so you know what I'm saying, you got some symbolism. Yeah, the people find the one in the apartment. You can do something like that to make it more interesting, obviously. And the people who like, who is this baby? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? The baby forms, and then the baby forms, obviously. Actually, no, that would create contradictions and plot holes. Because if the baby forms in the apartment, the people will know that this baby came from nowhere, obviously. And the best thing to do is have the baby form in some place, and nobody saw the baby forming, and then someone finds a baby. That's better, obviously. Someone finds a baby, and then the baby, they give it up they put it in an adoption place, and the people adopt the baby. You get the life of the one. Look at a masterpiece. Yeah, hence why the Wachowski sisters will be sold, obviously, because it's a masterpiece, and I'm gonna blow David Zaslav and the Wachowski sisters with my story. Holy shit, that sounds like a masterpiece. Yeah, like an amazing story, man. Anyways, if this video, I am gonna upload this video. I'm gonna enjoy the show with you guys in a good, 10, 15 minutes from now. So I would I'm signing out. Peace.